There are things I never planned to learn how to draw, but making comics forced me to learn anyway. And today I want to talk about how comics can push you out of your comfort zone and you can learn the unexpected. Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome to Panels in Progress. And if you're looking for a channel about all things making comics, you found the right one. Let's get into the topic today. Alright, as artists, we all have our comfort zones, the things that we love to draw, the things that we could draw mindlessly for hours and hours and never get bored. For some people, that's characters. For other people, that might be robots or cars or pretty girls. Usually, if you're on Instagram, there's plenty of pretty girls, which, hey, we all love it. But the thing about making comics is you are going to have to draw more than just what you're used to. And I mean, this information seems so obvious, right? Of course you're going to have to draw things that you're not used to because you're telling a story. But you don't realize it until it's actually time to draw those things. And I can't tell you how many times I've started a new comic idea, and it's not until I'm actually thumbnailing the comic that I'm like, oh shit, I actually have to draw this. One of my very first comics, my very first long form short story comics, I realized not only did I have to figure out how I was going to draw like a small SUV, but I also needed to figure out what a gas station was going to look like, what a pump for a gas station was going to look like, how am I going to draw the interior of a convenience store. All those things I didn't realize that I was going to have to figure out how to draw. And of course, because I was unused to the idea, it was a little bit rudimentary, but I got the job done. There's been other times where for other comics, like I've had to figure out how to draw doll houses, what a roller coaster should look like, what it looks like for a large stack of pancakes. How should a fork look? These are things, everyday things that we use all the time, but we never really think about what they actually look like until it's time to draw them. And for most of us, whenever we hit that roadblock of, oh crap, I don't know how to draw this, that has us running to Google, Pinterest, wherever, trying to find reference or just looking around your house for something similar. And this could come up anywhere. This could come up with different types of backgrounds, characters, objects, or dynamic poses and angles, the things that you would not normally think about, but now because you're trying to compose this comic, you have to think about them. I mean, let's take for instance, if you want to make a alien city in a galaxy far, far away, please don't copyright strike me, then you're gonna have to figure out, how can I make this world look alien when I don't live on an alien planet? There's no reference for that. But there is a remedy, and that simple fix could be taking an obscure location and just adding little bits of strangeness into it. Part of being a comic creator or being an artist in general is taking what is known, remixing it in a different way, and making it new again, making it fresh again. For instance, the comic I'm currently working on now, I had to come up with an alien design, but I also knew that I wanted the alien to face hug or attack the face of the person in the comic. And of course, I could have just went to aliens and looked at the face hugger design, but I decided to do something a little bit different. So I decided to use bugs, make the bug bigger, kind of like manipulate the type of bug with the type of head I was looking for, the type of teeth, add some horrific elements to make it mine, to make it unique to me. So yes, there is a face hugger in my comic, but it's different because I made it my own. And you might find yourself doing the exact same thing, taking different parts of different things and mashing them together. Another amazing thing about making comics is that you learn skills backwards. You don't necessarily know that you need this skill until you actually reach it on your comic. So let's say you're thumbnailing, you're getting deep into the pencils, you find out your perspective is a little wonky. Right then and there, you know, like for this particular panel, I need to figure out perspective. Or it could be the lighting of a scene where you want to have that dramatic effect, and maybe you never thought about how to use spot black inks to highlight the composition. So now it's got you looking through comics, looking through manga, trying to figure out how you can achieve the look that you want to achieve. Or maybe it's just a tough dynamic pose. I know we've all had those issues where you got this really cool dynamic pose in your head, but when you draw it on paper, it looks like pure garbage. What do you do in that instance? Well, that's where you're looking for reference, you're using 3D models, or you're using little action figures. I happen to have those sticky bone figures that are perfect for posing, and I take pictures of that. Or sometimes you can just have a friend or family member take a picture of you in that pose, seeing yourself in that angle, and then using that as reference for your drawing. There's a way to solve these problems, but like I said, you never knew that you needed to solve that problem until you started making the comic. And that's the beauty of making a comic. Like, while you're making it, your growth as an artist is going to go up exponentially because you're taking the time to hit all the angles. It's a thing that comics requires so much that we just don't realize. It requires storytelling. It requires thoughtful planning. It requires organizing ideas into a comprehensible page flow. It requires dramatic moments. It requires beats. It requires so much that we're all managing all at once. And if you've read as many comics and as many manga as I've read, you know that some people are amazing at this, but there's other people who struggle, and it's usually because you have to have so many moving parts all working together at once. I'm not really sure who said this, but they said something like a comic artist is basically doing a stage play production all by themselves. We are directing, not only did we write the script, we are directing, playing all the parts, creating the backgrounds. We're also behind the scenes, adding the sound effects. We're a one-man show if you are making your own comic, making your own manga. It takes a lot of effort, but if you can make it cohesive, then it all works out. In the effort of making a comic, it's also going to point out your weaknesses. The more comics you make, the more you're going to be aware of what you struggle with, what your weaknesses are. For a long time, I didn't realize what my weaknesses were, but I kept on making comics until I finally realized, wait a minute, I need better quality line work. I need better shadows. I need better colors. I need better character design. I need consistency amongst my characters. Having a comic that's ongoing, and this can happen for the professionals as well as for us indie creators. That first chapter might look as good as you want it to be, but as you continue to tell that story, or maybe even just your next stories, that next comic, if you're doing all the practicing, if you're really pushing yourself to get better each and every time you draw, that third, fourth, fifth, 100th comic is going to look absolutely amazing. That's the goal. Look at Attack on Titan. That first manga chapter was a little rough, but as you worked your way through the story, the art became amazing. The third thing I want to hit on, or that you should at least be aware of, is that the story doesn't have to scare you. Don't let your own limitations as an artist stop you from telling the story you want to tell. There's been plenty of times where I've had a grandiose idea and I got down to it and realized, oh crap, I don't know how to design an alien creature. I don't know how I'm going to portray this thing. Don't let your own shortcomings as an artist stop you from telling the story you want to tell. You might It might take you a little bit longer. It might be frustrating along the way. But ultimately, telling the story that you want to tell, the way you want to tell it, is going to be more satisfying than having yourself change elements to make it easier for you to tell that story. So if you have an epic high fantasy or a sci-fi or horror or whatever the genre is, it really doesn't matter. Whatever those struggle points are, you can work through them. Like maybe if you have cowboy aliens in your story and you have no idea how to draw horses or guns, maybe you might have to take like a side quest and draw some guns and practice drawing that, draw some horses, practice that. But eventually you're going to have a good enough understanding to add those back into your comic. And remember, like, unless this horse is going to show up in every single panel from the beginning of the story to the end, you don't necessarily need to know everything about drawing a horse. You can just focus on the panels that you know you need the horses. And so if you need panels of the horses running at different angles, if you need panels of the horses eating or jumping or whatever, just focus on those actions. And of course, in today's day and age, you have 3D. There's a 3D horse model out there waiting for you. Or you could buy one of those horse toys. I'm really big into having props that I can physically turn and manipulate and look at. And if that helps you to visualize it better on the page, then give that a try as well. But the overall point is, don't let your current abilities as an artist stop you from telling the story you want to tell. You might not be able to tell it in full detail of whatever you've imagined in your head, but you're going to get something that's either pretty close or something you can improve on. What's that famous saying? Make it first, make it better later. I love that quote. Add that into your practice. Make the thing first, then improve upon it later. You can always go back and fix it up. But one thing I want to add, even though we think that our idea is the most unique, original thing in the entire world, believe it or not, a lot of things that we want to draw, a lot of things that we want to create have been done in some way, shape, or form before. Now, what we add is a unique difference, a unique point of view that's going to elaborate on these ideas. But the beauty of that is that there is somewhere out there, reference or an artist or a movie, a TV show, something that has an idea of what you're trying to do. For instance, the current comic that I'm working on, it's a short horror story that takes place in the forest and woods. Now, I am not a background artist. I don't enjoy drawing backgrounds. I don't feel like I'm very good at backgrounds. I feel like backgrounds are a definite weakness. But as I was trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to draw this? How am I going to show on the page how this works? I remembered, oh, I have comics where there were characters going through the woods. And I started looking at those comics and seeing, how did this artist handle characters moving through the woods? How did they show a wooded area? And then I read a comic that I hadn't even known about until I saw it on Hoopla. I came across it. The entire comic has characters going into the woods, and I fell in love with how that artist handled it, and I started to elaborate off of those ideas for my own comic. So I said all that to say that there's reference and ideas out there. You can point yourself in a direction. I'm not saying copy. I'm saying use that other artists' reference or ideas or pictures. Go out to the woods, look at movies, pay attention to composition. Like, do a little bit more than just enjoy whatever you're watching, enjoy whatever you're reading. Because 9 times out of 10, those same composition rules, those same lighting effects are going to work for your comic, and that's kind of makes your job easier if you can do it that way. So give it a try. Remember, even if you think your idea is 100% original, there is something similar. Even if it's super old, there is something similar. There's something kind of alongside of your idea that is going to help you in some way, shape, or form, or at least point you in a new direction or a different direction, or give you a new perspective on how to think about your comic. So, have you experienced this? Have you made comics and you had no idea that you needed to learn this obscure thing, but now you're deep into your sketchbook trying to figure out how a centipede's head looks? Let me know in the comment section below. What is the weirdest thing that you had to Google or research in order to make your comic better? And if you're interested in my comics that I have done in the past, those links will also be in the description. And until next time, let's make some progress. Thanks for watching.